Welcome to my world, bitch. The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
They're here.
That's right, listeners. We are here. I'm Jason Knight.
And I'm Oscar Spector.
And this is the 159th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast.
So sluggishly paranormal.
Another adjective. Happy Christmas season, my little candy canes.
Merry happy.
Oscar's more PC. I'm a Christmas guy.
Yeah, well, you know.
Happy Christmas. My little candy canes, my little Santa hats.
Oh my god. So weirded out. And I'm sitting with him, folks.
Did I just make it? It's Christmas, and I'm saying all these Christmassy things, but we have a fucked up episode tonight.
Yeah, we do.
It's kind of ugly. But before we get into that, Oscar, we even though we're releasing this on December 1st, this is being recorded before Halloween.
Yes, well before Halloween. It's a few weeks away still.
That's right.
From our current stature.
So, echoes from the past?
So I would say that when you listen to the show, we must have been happier people at the time.
Why would you say that?
I don't know, because I assume everything's going to get worse.
It does. It just gets worse and worse and worse.
You're listening to us in very happy olden times of 3 months ago.
Happy old in 3 months, yes.
Yeah, not even, I guess.
Yeah.
No, but just seriously, though. Jay, I think I'm going to try to predict the future with you.
Predict the future with
So,
me.
like, we're in October.
We're in October.
We're time releasing this episode. When we listen to this next, it'll be released on air on December 1st
Yes.
for our listeners.
Yes.
I think by then, there's a good chance you're
predicting my future. Yeah. So you're predicting my future.
I personally think you will be addicted to Vicodin.
Vicodin?
Yes.
I'm going to come down with a prescription addiction?
Yeah. I've been watching House lately also.
Wow.
But,
oh, my God.
Yeah, so that's my prediction for you. What do you think is going to happen to me?
I think you are going to stumble upon a designer drug.
Oh, really?
And you are going to jump in feet first.
Really?
And be addiction-addled.
I don't do anything half-assed.
By January.
I would hope so. That's my birthday month. It's my birthday month. That's when I get all the drugs for
you're
free.
a New Year's baby. That's right.
That's right.
Yes, you're going to find a designer drug.
Okay.
Some take on meth. Some new spin.
What's that, fentanyl? Is that a designer drug? What's a designer drug? What does that make?
Like,
what makes a designer drug?
Like, back in my day.
Is it Ativan? Is it something packaged like that?
That was ecstasy. Was Molly like a designer drug?
I feel like a designer drug
Coke was a designer drug.
Just was popular with the young people? Is that what that is?
I don't know. Like, I feel like heroin at one time was a designer drug. Then it just started creating fucking zombies and everything else. So that's just kind of a dirtbag drug now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like just a bottom of the barrel fucking dirtbag drug. I don't know. It's indeed like your ecstasy, your Molly, your...
Yeah, I guess I've never thought about looking about, the meaning of designer.
Cocaine, I'm sure is still a designer drug. I don't know. I never got into drugs. It's one thing I never did.
I would like...
It was the drogas.
I would like to upgrade my crack house to a cocaine house one day.
Dude, you got to shoot for the stars, man.
Dude,
hey,
I'm trying.
It's the holiday season.
I'm trying.
Miracles happen.
I told you about that one time I did try cocaine, right?
No.
Did I tell you about that time?
I don't think so.
For the first time ever, 2 years ago, I tried cocaine. And one night only. It wasn't like I've tried it again.
What was it like?
It was good. I can see that. Why you like it.
No,
can see why
bad. Listeners.
I went to not a rave, but
Just
I went
say
to
no.
an EDM concert with a friend,
that had to be
and she was like, because we were like, she's like, I'm gonna bring something special. I didn't know what it was gonna be, and she's like, it's a little baggy. I'm like, is that fucking chalk powder?
Is it sugar?
No. She's like, no, it's cocaine. I'm like, really? I'm like, yes. You want to try it? I'm like, yes.
My God.
I said yes without hesitation.
We got to put a disclaimer on this episode.
Oh, it's fine. No one. Statute of limitations are long gone. They're not in my system. But yeah.
No, I'm worried about the children out there.
They're not listening to it. If they are, we say fucked up shit here.
We do.
So
we do.
Anyway, but I did try it, and it was fun. I liked it. I had a few bumps.
Wow.
got me going. I hate my throat though differently, which is I had to get used to that, the throat thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel right now.
That's fine. It's just a drug. It's not like I'm into it.
No. You're not into it for sure. For sure. You're not going to start stealing my fucking silverware, are you? To fund your coke.
I've seen your silverware. It's barely silver.
Oh my lord, the revelations that come out on this show! I swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for a Christmas miracle, you're gonna get hooked on some designer drug, and you're gonna update your crack house to a cocaine house.
Just so you all know, yeah, exactly. Just so you all know, the concert was for Lady Dijon.
Lady Dijon Mustard.
Yeah,
Nice.
I believe that was her.
Nice. Yes. All right. Well, since this is talking from the past, I don't have any news or anything to talk about as far as catching up.
I mean, will we know?
Because it hasn't happened yet.
Will we know who got elected? Yeah?
Not yet.
No, by the time the episode comes out?
Oh, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we can't talk about it now.
No, but...
I mean, I have an idea who's going to get elected. I'm not going to talk about it.
No, I'm not saying that, I guess, either.
Let's talk about these canvassers. Do they come to your house all the time?
No.
Multiple times a week, people ring my doorbell, and it's hooked up through Alexa and all this shit, so it rings like werewolves. They're fucking throughout the house.
That's cute.
Jesus Christ.
That's cute.
So multiple times a week. Now
Wait, what kind of werewolf? Like Teen Wolf or like something old school?
From American Werewolf in London. So multiple times a week, these fucking people come to my house, and they're like, do you plan to vote? Yeah, I plan to vote. Who are you voting for? I remember a time, back in my day.
Right, back in, yeah.
You didn't talk about this shit. Politics, who you're voting for,
it's the same way when people didn't talk about money, right? You don't ask people about money. It's the same
I feel like that's still the same.
I don't
People still don't discuss salaries,
in general,
how much you make, all that
in
shit.
general, yeah.
I still consider that faux pas. But yeah, politics, we never talked about it growing up. No, that you just didn't talk. It's my business, not your business. Yeah. So these people are always coming to the house and they want an answer. Who am I voting for? Right?
Yeah.
And I always tell them, I used to say Kennedy. And you should see the look on these people's faces, and then they would leave. Now I just tell them, dude, I don't talk about it. And they're like, oh, okay, I respect that, and they walk away.
Okay.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I have a couple friends, literally just two, that do canvassing. One in Ohio and one in Chicago, or the outskirts of Chicago, really. And they tell me they've been texting me lately about some interesting people they meet.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
People conflicted about this or that, or the way they talk about it, they find it interesting. And they're very blue people, by the way, as you can imagine, being from Chicago. And they don't hassle me, Jay, for one reason is that not only do I live in an apartment, second floor type, but I have no doorbell. Thank God. No one can bother me unless they know my fucking phone number.
Lucky bastard.
So, you goddamn right, no one's going to fucking hassle me.
Lucky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we get into this episode?
Let's do it.
Oscar, could we take a break?
Mm-hmm.
Listeners, welcome back to the show. Well, the lights are turned down low. The ceremonial candle is lit. And the drinks are about to start flowing. Let's start this show. Okay, so just like last episode...
It's funny how just the drinks portion of that intro is actually right.
Or 2 episodes ago. Would it be 2 episodes ago? When I gave you... Could we like to drink whiskey as we... podcast loosens you up a bit.
Yeah,
I gave you 3 bottles to choose from.
Yeah,
last time, and you chose the very old Saint Nick. This time, I kept 2 of those bottles, and I introduced a new 3rd bottle.
Okay.
Which would you like me to open, Oscar? We have the Elijah Craig Toast. This was one of your picks last time, 94 proof. Picked that up from the distillery.
Mm-hmm.
I have Rittenhouse Rye, bottled in bond, so it's 100 proof.
Kyle
also,
Rittenhouse.
Not Kyle Rittenhouse, Oscar. You're going to get us canceled. Pick this up from the distillery, too. That's bottled in bond. 100 proof. I think I said that already. And the new one I introduced is a 10-year Henry McKenna. This is also bib, bottled in bond. It was bottled in April 5th, 2012. Which one good sir, would
So it's
you
a
like
12-year,
me-
not a 10-year.
Well, now it is.
Yeah.
But it was bottled at 10 years. They don't continue to age once they're in the bottle.
That's not fair.
So, like last time, which would you like?
Well, listeners, you guys don't know how the sausage is made with this particular kind of aspect of the show, but I'm going to give you the choice. I'm going to give you the answer. It's going to be the rye. It's going to be the Rittenhouse.
The Rittenhouse Rye.
Yeah.
Good choice. I've really wanted to try this one.
You don't say.
Let's try. Okay, so I'm going to open this sucker up.
It's not like you told me ahead of time to pick this.
I would never.
What?
Tell me this is not a screw cap. I'll be really upset if this is a screw cap.
It looks like it is from here.
It certainly does, doesn't it? But, oh, it's a screw cap. Really?
It loses respect, doesn't it?
It really does lose a little respect. I like getting that first nose fill as soon as you crack that bottle. Yep, it's alcohol. I don't have that palate. I don't have that nose. I love bourbons and whiskeys. I just don't have the nose or the palate. It's kind of sad, actually.
I have even less.
It's a wonderful color. This is a great
Oh,
color.
I do like the color.
Deep color. I don't know if there's an age statement on here. Oh, anyway. Oh, it's bottled and bond. Duh. Okay, give me your glass there, sir.
Oh,
Is the mic picking that up?
it is.
That's a nice sound right there. Okay.
Definitely tell it's stronger.
Yeah, that very old St. Nick, that wasn't even, I don't think, 87 proof. This is 100 proof, so good solid hunch. Give it a little, don't you taste it yet.
Tell me what to
there's
do.
definitely some,
Pink.
that's caramel for sure. Okay, here we go. I'm going to swirl it a little more.
You smell caramel, really?
I do.
I smell like dead dreams.
Wow. This is a Christmas episode, for Christ's sake, Oscar.
Not right now, it ain't.
Yeah, man, caramel. It's not great. It smells good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Spicy. Cinnamon, for sure.
Yeah, the cinnamon actually.
Heavy cinnamon.
I actually kind of like the cinnamon.
Yeah, me too. All right. We got our whiskey.
And he's pouring another glass, folks.
Oh, you're going to hear that. Oh, you won't hear the bottle because it's a fucking twist cap. Yeah. Tonight, Oscar, we have one of those rare, few and far between, kind of timely episodes. But we actually originally covered this topic back in 2019 as one of our very first Patreon-only shows. Now, I decided to cover this topic again and expand on our original episode because recently it's seen a resurgence in popularity, or at least in curiosity, due to a Netflix movie called Woman of the Hour, which started streaming on October 18th, 2024. Now, Woman of the Hour is directed by my celebrity freebie. You know, the celebrity.
Oh my God, I remember now. It's all coming back.
Yes, the celebrity my wife says I could sleep with if the opportunity ever arises. I think hers is Josh Hartnett. Anyway, Anna Kendrick. She directs the movie and she also stars in it. She plays a woman named Cheryl Bradshaw, an aspiring actress who, in 1978, picked a serial killer as her winner on a wildly popular game show called The Dating Game. Now, the serial killer and rapist in question is a man, more like a goddamn animal, named Rodney James Alcala, also known as the Dating Game Killer. Now, Alcala was active between 1968 and 1979, and he had a very peculiar MO. Since Rodney was considered good-looking, tall, fit, bright white shark smile, tan skin, long, thick black hair, and he was incredibly smart and very smooth, and he was good with a camera, Rodney Alcala would lull his victims into this false sense of security because he would pose as a successful fashion photographer. So here's this handsome for the 1970s guy. He's an incredibly smooth talker, and he's got a camera, and he's a fashion photographer. He's harmless. So women open themselves up to him, totally clueless as to who the man behind the camera really was. And that was his M.O., tricking women into getting them alone by posing as a photographer. Well, that and rape and torture. He liked to strangle his victims to the point of death, then revive them again, only to do it again, and again, and again. He also loved to pose his victims' bodies to, as Alcala put it, defile the victims the best I can in death. This is a real fucking winner we're talking about this time. It's said that Rodney Alcala is one of the most prolific serial killers in American history, and he's often likened to Ted Bundy, just a killing machine. Any young woman or girl, young man, who crossed this guy's path and survived is extremely lucky, as anyone, regardless of age, race, or sex, was a potential victim. And when it comes to victim count, Rodney Alcala's trail of bodies is placed between 8 and 130.
Okay.
Now, if the numbers are correct and Alcala's body count is really that high, that would rank this monster as the second worst serial killer in modern history. The first being Luis Garavito, known as La Bestia, the Beast, a child murderer from Colombia who has 138 confirmed kills.
I'm sure you will explain it. That gap, right? There must be a reason.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
There is.
Cool.
And
then I won't ask any until you get there.
Not a problem.
But obviously, my first question is like, how do you go from 8 to 130?
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. And I will. I'll touch on that.
Cool.
Now, Alcala. This guy, he was fucking smart. Incredibly smart. He had a genius-level IQ. Now, when it comes to intelligent quotient, or someone's IQ, I want to give you guys some information on how people score and what those IQ numbers mean. Now, generally, an IQ under 100 is considered below average, almost kind of borderlining on a mental issue.
Oh, really?
Mentally challenged. While an IQ of 100 is considered average. An IQ over 140 is considered a high IQ, and an IQ score of 160 plus is considered genius-level IQ.
Okay.
Approximately 70% of the population falls within the IQ range of 85 to 115, which doesn't say very much about population.
No.
And in most scoring systems, less than 3% of people score higher than 130.
Okay.
Rodney Alcala, this asshole had a staggering 160 IQ, which classified him as exceptionally gifted. And this is rare, occurring in about 1 in 31,560 people. Isn't that some shit? This fucking guy was a genius.
Like verifiably.
Verifiably. Charles Darwin and Ludwig von Beethoven had IQs of 165. Einstein and Stephen Hawking both had IQs of 160. Ted Bundy, 124, Adolf Hitler, 141, and Jeffrey Dahmer, 145. If Alcala didn't become a serial killer, God knows what he could have accomplished with a mind like that. I mean, he had an IQ equivalent to Stephen Hawking and Einstein. Isn't that something?
It kind of makes you think about psychopathy. I'm assuming he has that, or had that. And
sexual sadist for sure.
Yeah, but, psychopathy is interesting because a lot of people attribute that to intelligence. Not like sane people. That's not right either. Not like people who don't know what's going on with that, with, the psychology of that, can attribute people being a psychopath with being smart.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they say...
Like, dumb people can be psychopaths, 100%.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But, we don't attribute that way.
Well, they say, your high-powered lawyers, your
right.
Your cream-of-the-crop doctors, your, these insanely successful businessmen, captains of industry, they share a lot of similarities with people that are psychotic, with psychopathy.
Yes,
it's
Michael
true.
Jordan.
This is true. Yeah, your cream of the crop ultimate sports stars, right?
Yeah.
Have a lot of same similarities as psychopaths. It's fucked up.
Stanley Kubrick, he was an asshole.
What's that? Say it again?
Kubrick,
Oh, Stanley Kubrick. Yeah.
Yes, like that. And you, whatever tweak there is to a psychopathic person that can lead to violence enough to merit them serial killer. Obviously, that's where you differ from other psychopaths / other geniuses.
Yeah, right.
But it's I think it's fascinating that we see it that way. We tend to see smart people as evil, bad, or callous. At the very least,
callous for sure.
Callous, cold.
Good point.
It's there's got to be some connection there that's more obvious that I'm not going to talk about right now. But beyond that connection, it seems like it's a fact when it isn't. Two separate things. You can be empathetic and a genius. It doesn't have to be one of the. There's many examples of that. But I just found that interesting. I wonder how many people blame his intellect.
Yeah, I haven't seen that too much. I don't think people want to give him the credit,
Yeah.
But yeah, genius. A genius. Yeah. Possibly one of the worst serial killers in modern history, but he was a fucking genius. And one of the craziest things about Rodney Alcala, besides being a genius-level murdering piece of shit, while he was an active serial killer, Rodney Alcala had the gall to appear as a contestant on a hit American television show called The Dating Game. Now, The Dating Game, if you don't know, was an incredibly popular, sleazy daytime television show in the mid to late 1970s. We're talking a smoking hot bachelorette would ask ridiculous questions, usually dripping with sexual undertones, to a hidden panel of three handsome bachelors.
No, it's funny because I've seen this clip and I've seen a lot of jokes, like skits that makes fun of the dating game over the years in my lifetime. Like I've seen The Simpsons do it, I think, and other things. I always find them funny. They're ridiculous. It's as bad as Love Is Blind, honestly. It's as bad as any of those things.
Yeah. I equate it
MILF
to like,
Manor.
Oh my God. I equate it to like today's Bachelor.
Yeah,
That's
another
show.
good one, yeah. And their questions are always so ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how this... And listeners, I'm going to get to this in a second, but you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it firsthand.
Yeah.
The questions that are asked, the tone in which they're asked, and the responses.
Also, the pride. I mean, talk about pride before the fall of this guy.
Oh, he was already fallen.
I'm just saying, like kind of balls he's got to be. You said brazen, too.
Right.
It's beyond brazen. It's idiotic.
It's psychotic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, so these sexually charged questions would be asked to a panel of three handsome for the 70s bachelors.
Yeah. Honestly, handsome for today, too.
A lot of butterfly collars, a lot of porn stashes, a lot of manes of hair,
maybe not
flowing
stash,
hair.
Okay.
It's just very strange. Now, based on the bachelor's answers, the bachelorette would ultimately choose one of these guys to go on a date with hopes of something more happening. Kind of harmless, raunchy fun, right?
Yeah.
But on this particular episode of The Dating Game, which aired on September 13th, 1978, despite his criminal history, because at this time Alcala had been arrested on numerous occasions up to this point, and stories differ as to whether or not producers for The Dating Game really checked into his background or not, which they were supposed to do for all contestants. Anyway, on this date, millions of people got to watch a deranged serial killer called Bachelor Number 1 attempt to lure his next victim into his web by giving these cute, quippy, sexually charged answers to the bachelorette's probing questions with this big, flashing, bright smile. It's kind of this hyena smile.
Shit-eating grin.
Shit-eating grin to the cameras. It's horrifying once you know who this guy is, right? And as I mentioned at the top of the show, the bachelorette, Cheryl Bradshaw, actually chose to go on a date with Alcala. And I'm not going to tell you what happened to the unlucky bachelorette yet. Now, actually, we have a clip from the Dating Game episode featuring Rodney Alcala as Bachelor Number 1. Now, listeners, it is a pretty long clip. It's over 3 minutes. I hope you don't mind. But now that you know just a little bit about Alcala and his crimes, the answer he gives in this Dating Game episode are that much creepier and fascinating.
Just imagine yourself as the audience while you're listening.
Absolutely. Oscar, could you please roll that clip?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And welcome to the dating game. And we'll get right underway. It's time to meet our first 3 eligible bachelors for game number 1. And here they are. Good luck, gentlemen. Well, let's see. Bachelor number 1 is a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the dark room at the age of 13, fully developed. Between takes, he might find him skydiving or motorcycling. Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome. And it's time to meet our young lady for game number 1, and here she is. Here is a young lady with a wealth of experience. She once earned a living massaging feet, but she quit when her boss suggested that she work her way up. Then she taught school in Phoenix, Arizona, and now she's here to educate our 3 bachelors in the art of amour. Welcome, if you will, sensational Cheryl Bradshaw. Hello, Cheryl. Don't sit down yet. Just a minute. Want to make sure everything is straight. You relaxed? You feel okay? All right. You know there are 3 bachelors over there. There'll be 1, 2, and 3. Ask them anything you like to find out more about them, except their name, age, occupation, or income, okay? And we're going to start by having them say hello to you and see how they sound. Number 1, would you say hello to Cheryl, please?
We're going to have a great time together, Cheryl.
Okay. And here we go.
Bachelor number 1,
Yes.
what's your best time?
The best time is at night, nighttime,
Why do you say that?
because that's the only time there is.
The only time? What's wrong with morning, afternoon?
Well, they're okay, but nighttime's when it really gets good. Then you're really ready.
I'm a drama teacher, and I'm going to audition each of you for my private class. Bachelor number 1. You're a dirty old man. Take it.
Come on, over here.
Oh, honey, we ought to go out and boogie.
Really?
Bachelor number 1. I am serving you for dinner.
Oh,
What are you called, and what do you look like?
I'm called the banana, and I look really good.
Can you be a little more descriptive?
Peel me.
Later, Bachelor 1. Later.
Welcome back to the dating game, and Cheryl, we have reached the moment of truth, as we call it. You've heard from the bachelors. You got some great dramatic presentations, some good answers, but now I'm going to ask you a question. Will that date be bachelor number 1, bachelor number 2, or bachelor number 3? Who gets the dates?
Well, I like bananas, so I'll take 1.
Number 1, bachelor number 1. All right. Well, there they go. However, you did leave 1 remaining, and this is your date, and I want to tell you something about him, Cheryl. He's a skydiver, so he's got a lot of nerve. He's into motorcycling. He's also a fine photographer. Say hello to Rodney Alcala. Rodney, come on and say hello. Congratulations, Rod. You did it with the 1 answer.
Such a creepy, sleazy fucker he is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll leave a link to the video showing all of this so you can see Cheryl and Rodney's shitty grin and his mane of hair and his eyes. His eyes are...
Really?
There's nothing there. Yeah, you could tell.
Do you know who's playing? You mentioned Anna Kendrick in the movie. Do you know who's playing?
I've seen him. I mean, I've seen a picture of him. To me, it doesn't look anything like Rodney Alcala, but I can't think of his name.
Okay.
Sorry.
I mean, I could look it up, but okay.
Yeah, and as of writing this and recording this, it's not October 18th yet. It's the 13th. So I haven't seen the movie yet.
Right.
We
None of us have.
We could always come back and report on it in January. But
That's true.
now, as prizes for winning, the dating game paid to send Cheryl and Rodney for tennis lessons and for ridiculous-looking matching tennis outfits and to Magic Mountain, a theme park in California. Sadly, the couple would never take those tennis lessons or visit Magic Mountain. We'll get into why, and we're also going to get into Alcala's hideous crimes, of course. But for now, let's take a look at his background. Was something there that could have foreshadowed this monster?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know. Yes, you wanted to know.
Yeah, who knows?
I did find them. It is your mom. Oh, no, that's not right. His name is Daniel Sovato.
Daniel Sovato is playing Rodney Alcala.
Yes.
Okay.
And he's been in things before. Funny enough, we mentioned a movie of his in the last show. He was in The Pope's Exorcist. I think he plays one of the younger priests in that movie.
Really?
Yes, that's funny. Interesting connection.
Okay, so now we know. Yeah.
But he's more of he's definitely not a big name. I recognize his face, but I don't know him offhand like that. Not like Anna Kendrick, anyway.
Anna Kendrick, yes.
You're such a hard-on for her.
That's my celebrity freebie, Bo.
I get it.
Now, Rodney Alcala was born Rodrigo Jacques Alcala Bucor.
Yikes.
On August 23rd, 1943, in San Antonio, Texas.
Is that bottled and bond, too?
No, the Rodney Alcala is definitely a fucking twist cap.
Oh, nice.
His parents were Raul Alcala Bucor and Ana Maria Gutierrez. In 1951, Rodney Alcala moved with his family to Mexico, and around 1954, Alcala's father, Raul, abandoned his family, which led to Alcala and his brother and two sisters, so he's got a brother and two sisters, and his mother moving to Los Angeles, California, when he was only 12 years old. His childhood was pretty uneventful, from what I could tell. No real warning signs to predict what he would become, and I've read too much about this asshole, watched too many documentaries, and really, there was nothing there that would have signaled this is someone
other than the abandonment of the father.
Abandonment of the father, right, but that doesn't mean you're going to grow up to be the rapist serial killer this guy was.
Right, because so many of us are abandoned.
Right. And there's not much on his parents either. I read that his mother, Ana Maria, was incredibly hardworking. She did whatever she could to provide for her son and for the brother and the two sisters. It said his mother gave Rodney every opportunity to succeed, including sending him to private schools.
Really?
So there's nothing tragic there, really.
Yeah.
You know, little father issue, who doesn't have those, and that's it. But at the age of 17, he joined the U.S. Army and served as a clerk. But 4 years into his service, he suffered what was likened to a nervous breakdown, and he faced allegations of sexual misconduct. And he was ultimately discharged from the Army in 1964 after being diagnosed with severe antisocial personality disorder.
Okay.
Now, once out of the Army, Alcala enrolled in the UCLA School of Fine Arts and earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in 1968. And it's in 1968 that something in Alcala snaps or triggers. What triggered him? We don't know. We know that in 68, Alcala attempted to kill what we think was his first victim, an 8-year-old girl named Tali Shapiro. Just a fucking vicious, heinous crime. Were there victims before Tali Shapiro? We don't know. But from the details I'm about to give you about what Alcala did to the little Tali, I find it hard to believe she was his first. Like he just decided out of nowhere to do what he did to her. I just don't buy it. I think there were victims before this little girl.
Yeah.
So, on the morning of September 25th, 1968, Rodney Alcala pulled up to Tali as she was walking to school on Sunset Boulevard. This is in Los Angeles, of course.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to convince little Tali to get into his car, but she refused, saying that she wasn't allowed to talk to strangers. Good for you. Ever the smooth talker, in response, Alcala told Tali that he was good friends with her family, and that if she got into his car, he'd show her a pretty picture. And sadly, this was enough to convince Tali to get into Alcala's beige color sedan with no license plates. And according to court testimony, getting into the car is the last thing Tali Shapiro remembers. Thank God. Now, as literally a heaven-sent miracle, a good Samaritan who was also heading down Sunset saw this whole thing transpire. He saw a little girl walking down Sunset Boulevard. He saw this beige car pull up to her, and then he witnessed the girl getting into the vehicle. Thinking this was kind of odd, the Good Samaritan called the police and proceeded to give a detailed description of Alcala and the vehicle.
Yeah.
Now, some articles I read say that the Good Samaritan actually followed Alcala's car. Either way, the police were able to quickly locate Alcala's DeLongpre Avenue apartment. When the police arrived at Alcala's apartment door, they demanded to be let in. They're banging on the door. And Alcala peeked through the door and said he couldn't let him in because he was taking a shower. The cops gave him a few seconds to get his shit together, and when he didn't come back to the door, they said fuck it, and they kicked the door in. But Alcala, that slippery piece of shit, had already escaped out the back door. Upon entering the apartment, police found poor Tali Shapiro on the kitchen floor, close to death. Now remember, this is an innocent 8-year-old girl. Tali was found naked, legs spread, and lying in a puddle of her own blood. Alcala had beaten, raped, and nearly strangled Tali to death with a 10-pound metal bar. Now, thankfully, this incredibly strong, brave little girl survived the most vicious attack imaginable, but only after being in a coma for a month, and after months of intense medical treatment following that coma. After Tali was well enough, her family moved out of the country, and I don't blame them. This fact becomes important later, and unfortunately leads to many more murders. Now understand, as we go through this guy, he was a traveler, a wanderer. Alcala traveled from California to New York and back again a number of times while he was an active serial killer, stopping who knows where and doing who knows what. A cross-country killer. Now, when Alcala fled his apartment after brutalizing Tali Shapiro, he hightailed it to New York. And while he's in New York, Rodney Alcala changed his name to John Berger. John Berger enrolled in film school at NYU.
Yeah.
And he even got to study under none other than Roman Polanski.
Well, not a little surprising, I guess.
Now, while studying at NYU, Alcala is added to the FBI's 10 most wanted list for the attempted murder of Tali Shapiro. And I guess he began to feel the heat in New York because he quickly moved to New Hampshire, where he again changed his name, but just a little bit. In New York, Alcala was John Berger, B-E-R-G-E-R. And when he moves to New Hampshire, he's now John Berger, B-U-R-G-E-R. Like a fucking cheeseburger.
Yeah.
In New Hampshire, Alcala, or Cheeseburger, gets a job as a counselor at, of all places, a girls' camp. This fucking guy, I'm telling you, you can't make this shit up, Oscar.
I mean, talk about our system being slow to catch up with things. Jesus Christ.
Just wait.
I mean, the idea of him flying from one to the other, assuming he flew from LA to New York.
He's pretty much driving it.
Oh, he's driving it?
From what I understand, he's driving it, which is worse. That's worse for a guy like this.
It does seem worse, yes. But also, like, it feels like, compared to today, flying, you can't get away with your face, you know what I mean?
You'd be caught. You should be caught in a second.
In a second, yeah.
So he gets a job at a fucking girls' camp in New Hampshire. Cheeseburger does. Now this is great. Now, a few girls from the camp noticed an FBI wanted poster tacked up at a post office.
What?
And they commented to each other that the man on the poster looks an awful lot like their creepy camp counselor, Mr. Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
The girls notified authorities, and Alcala was apprehended and brought back to California to stand trial for the abduction, rape, and attempted murder of Tali Shapiro. Thank God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's where the problem comes in.
I know exactly where you're going.
Because the Shapiro family was out of the country and unavailable, there wasn't a primary witness to testify against Alcala. All the charges Alcala would have faced, which would have come with a lengthy prison term, he instead was offered a plea deal and pled down to a lesser charge of child molestation. Alcala wound up spending only 34 months in jail, and he had to register as a sex offender. 34 months for what he did to that poor kid.
Yeah.
So fucked up. So in less than 3 years, the animal was back out in the streets and hunting once again.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it come in. The second you mentioned...
Yeah.
My bad.
That's okay.
The second you mentioned that they went out of town. I left the country. Sorry,
yeah.
I left the country. Sorry.
Yeah. No.
I knew exactly where this was going. And this is nothing necessarily that I would... It's easy to blame the justice system, but we're not here to do that right now. Yeah, it's super predictable there. There was something you mentioned earlier. I'm trying to remember what it was before you got into the little girl.
Which?
Something about his upbringing. I had it a minute ago, man. I'm losing it as I'm talking.
It's late.
It is late.
And we just recorded the second Exorcist episode.
Right, yeah.
Exorcism episode.
Yeah, we're doing a double today.
We're doing a twofer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If he comes back,
yeah, if it comes back,
me.
I'm going to try to write it, actually.
Say, hey, stupid, stop.
No, you're fine.
Now, Alcala's next victim was a woman named Cornelia Criley. Originally, Alcala was only suspected of killing Criley in New York in 1971, while he was on the run for the crimes he committed against Tali Shapiro. Criley was a 23-year-old TWA flight attendant. Alcala brutally raped and strangled Criley with a pair of her own pantyhose inside her Upper East Side apartment. When police found her, Criley was lying naked and posed against an overturned bed, with the nylon stocking used to strangle her still cinched around her neck. Cornelia's bra had been pulled up over her head, and Alcala had severely bitten her left breast. Alcala was confirmed as Criley's killer in 2012, so for 41 years, Cornelia Criley's murder went unsolved.
Wow.
41 fucking years.
It's a long time.
Could you imagine being their family and not knowing for 41 years?
I imagine a lot of them didn't make it through all that time.
Probably
but the
not.
ones that remained, yeah. I remembered. And
Not much is known about this next victim, but this one was lucky to get away. This one actually got away. In California in 1974, while on parole for Tali Shapiro's molestation charges.
Yeah.
Remember, he was pled down to molestation. Alcala was arrested for assaulting a 13-year-old girl, referred to in court documents only as Julie J. Julie J had accepted from Alcala what she thought would be a ride to school, very reminiscent of Tali Shapiro. Instead, Alcala attacked and sexually assaulted Julie J. He was caught and only spent 2 years in jail for these terrible offenses. Then he was back out on the prowl, and unbelievably, his parole officer allowed him to travel back to New York in 1977.
I wonder if that's a case of, too much going on, like an overbearing amount of cases, that kind of thing.
I don't even know if it was that. I think Alcala was so...
That charming, that much charming,
Exactly.
that kind of harmless...
Exactly.
This
is a
I don't know. I feel
level killer we're dealing with. He could talk to anybody. You know what I mean?
I guess you're right, but also and maybe this is me living in the current age, and I just don't feel like anyone will get away with that anymore, and just not true back then. But it does seem like when it comes to convicts in general, basically they've been treated like shit all their lives in this country forever, whether or not they're deserved, but especially the deserved ones. And I feel like when it comes to that, especially if you're a PO officer or halfway house manager or whatever, you read the rap sheet, you assign a judgment to that person by reading what they've done, what they're sentenced for.
Very good.
Before their looks or charms. You don't believe any bullshit they're going to tell you. You know everything they say is a lie. I feel like there's a disconnect there that I'm not understanding, that I don't think it's just the times.
You're right. There is a disconnect, a huge disconnect.
You know what I'm saying?
Because what follows, is terrible.
Right.
Had he not been allowed to go back to New York at that point.
Also,
maybe none of
you hear all these stories that are very, very true today and must have been true back then, that child molestation doesn't go well with people who are incarcerated.
That's another great point. That too. He got off pretty easy, not getting fucking shanked.
Pretty fucking easy, twice.
Yeah. That's again. Was he turning up the charm in jail?
What the fuck was he doing? I don't understand. 160 IQ genius doesn't mean he gets away with everything. It just means he has a lot of capacity.
Point. I did not think.
Doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? If I see this guy in jail, in a jail cell, I automatically know he's an asshole, convicted asshole felon. And if I know he molested a child, no way I'm going to trust anything he says. How can he charm me from that point?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I know it's rhetorical, but it's a great point.
Yeah.
And by the way, you mentioned that, how he looks and stuff, and I mentioned how he looks. Listeners, go to the show notes. I should have mentioned this at the top of the show.
Oh, right.
All of the victims I have pictures of, and I also have pictures of Cheeseburger Alcala, this fuck.
Yeah.
So go to the show notes. But no, that's a great point. How did he not get the shit kicked out of him in prison or killed for doing this stuff?
Right. Did he merely join the Nazi gang in there or whatever?
Who knows?
Well, he's actually Hispanic, so maybe the other.
Right, yeah, that wouldn't work.
No, I don't know.
But yeah, it's a great question. I don't know.
Yeah, anyway.
So his parole officer lets him back to New York. So in New York in 1977, Alcala got right to it, killing a woman named Ellen Hover. Ellen Hover. Now, she was 23 years old at the time of her death on July 15th, 1977. She was a comedy writer and an aspiring music conductor who disappeared after leaving her Manhattan apartment on July 15th, 1977. On the date she went missing, Ellen had written that she was to meet with someone named John Berger, a photographer, in her date book. That used to be a thing back then.
Oh, yeah.
You would write that
Kids
down.
ask your grandparents.
Right. Now I use Google Calendar for everything, but there used to be a date book. So in her date book, on that date, she was meeting with a photographer named John Berger. Fucking red flags, right?
Yeah.
For us. And her friend said that this John Berger character had been pressuring Ellen to have lunch with them. So that's what she did. She left her apartment on July 15th, again, 77, and she was never seen alive again. 11 months later, Ellen's bones were found near Rockefeller Estates. The Rockefeller Estate grounds.
Okay.
Alcala liked to use the beautiful, vast Rockefeller Estate as a backdrop for his photography sessions. So he is intimately familiar with the grounds and any potential hiding spots.
Yeah.
When Ellen Hover's body was found, she was so badly decomposed that dental records were the only way to identify her. Now here's a twist. Ellen Hover, she wasn't a nobody.
Yeah, right.
Her goddaughter, she was goddaughter of both Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr.
You're kidding.
That was their goddaughter.
Wow.
And her father owned an incredibly popular, probably the most popular nightclub in Hollywood at the time, a joint called Ciro's, which Ellen was set to inherit. She was an heiress to this vast kind of, they were very wealthy, and she was going to inherit this nightclub and all that came with it.
Yeah, Nepo Baby.
A Nepo Baby, yeah. And it wasn't until 2010 that Alcala was confirmed to be Hover's killer.
Wow.
And I didn't mean that the other women that were killed were nobodies.
Oh, right, no.
But she was a somebody. Clearly,
Yeah.
she was a somebody. And Sammy Davis Jr. and Sammy Davis.
No, if anything, what it sparks in me when you mention that is not that, that other victims are nobodies. Is more that I'm surprised that and maybe you're about to say how, that the investigation didn't get kicked up a notch because of the celebrity status or connection.
Did.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it was front page news.
Right.
I mean, all sorts of police,
because usually that's the thing that
was involved.
that kicks this off to
100%
infamy. Sorry,
But they didn't catch him.
right? But they
Didn't catch him. Yeah, front page news. Hover was for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Alcala's next victim was a woman named Jill Barkham. Barkham was 18 years old at the time of her death. She was a New York transplant who moved to L.A. with aspirations of becoming a Hollywood actress. How many times we've heard that story?
Mm-hmm.
And she was a small thing, barely 5 feet tall and less than 100 pounds. Jill disappeared from Sunset Boulevard, and her body was found on a service road off Mulholland Drive, near Marlon Brando's house, actually, in the Hollywood Hills, on November 10th, 1977. She had been raped, sodomized, her face bashed in with a rock, and she'd been strangled 3 times, with a belt, with her pantyhose, and with one of her pant legs. And she had been posed on her knees with her face in the dirt. Alcala was charged with Jill's murder through DNA evidence. So this guy, he was a fucking maniac. Just a maniac.
So I assume that they know that she got strangled 3 times because he used 3 different implements.
Yes.
And this will come up again, I assume.
I don't know if the implements were still around her neck. Right. That wasn't disclosed, or whether they were kind of strewn around the body.
Oh, there's patterns to it that you can tell.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's got an MO for sure.
I'm just saying, I wonder if he had just used his hands, would they be able to tell that he strangled his victims multiple times?
Oh, I don't know.
I wonder, can you tell that? I'm sure maybe now you can with our modern sciences, but...
No, that's true. Yeah, back then, I don't know.
I'm curious.
Which makes me think that's why they knew, because that shit was either still around her neck or it was strewn around the body. And there could have been ligature marks that were of differing widths.
Do they mention at all if these items were broken?
They didn't.
Because
No, I didn't see that.
it's possible that he strangled this victim, maybe at least, more than those 3 times, and then used a different item after it broke, which meaning that he could have used an item more than once. Like, in the middle of the second time.
He did have that thing where he liked to choke him to the point of death, then bring him back.
Right, he's prolonging that. You're right.
Yes.
He's making that emotion multiple times with one person, right?
Yes.
Whereas a lot of other strangulation is just a one and done. I wonder if he's using the pantyhose first, right? Lets her go, breathe, come back down. It breaks on the second time, uses a different thing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's more than 3.
It could be.
Right.
With this guy, you
depending
never know.
on how their forensics were able to tell at all how this victim was strangled, right? I don't know how they had it. Right?
Well, the technology certainly wasn't there back then.
Right.
You know, because a lot of these cases aren't being closed until the 2010s and higher. You know,
Is that when they found out about her?
I didn't write a date on that. I apologize. Well, it was through DNA evidence, so I'm assuming
It has to be after that because there's no
it's in the
DNA evidence
2000s.
back then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, on June 24th, 1978, Alcala murdered 32-year-old Charlotte Lamb. Lamb was found posed, again, this is one of his MOs, in the laundry room of a large apartment complex in El Segundo, California. She had been raped, beaten, and strangled to death with a shoelace. She was found with her arms bound behind her, and bite marks on one of her breasts. Once again, DNA linked Alcala to Charlotte Lamb. Mm-hmm. Now, for one of the most interesting things about this case, during all this murder and mayhem, and less than 3 months after killing Charlotte Lamb, so he's already a fucking rapist, child rapist, and he's a multiple murderer at this point. Rodney Alcala had the balls to appear on the dating game television show, like I said, on September 13th, 1978. Now, up to this point, from what we know, Alcala has killed at least 2 women, attempted to kill 1 child, and is a suspect in 2 murders. Oh, and the J, was it Julie J? A rapist as well.
Yeah.
He's also been in prison multiple times for offenses ranging from child molestation, drug possession, parole violation, providing drugs to a minor, and assault. I mean, a real gold star here.
Yeah.
If the producers on the dating game just took a peek into this clown's background, we're talking literally a surface-level look. They would have seen that he was an animal, and he would have never been let onto the show.
Yeah, this is where the internet would have been useful.
Right.
Right.
Or would he? Remember, Rodney Alcala, he was attractive. He was an intelligent guy with a huge pearly white smile, tan skin, a supposedly lucrative career as a fashion photographer, who also liked extreme sports like parachuting and motorbiking. A guy like that? Great for ratings. So who knows what the dating game's intentions really were. Maybe they did look into his background and said, he's too good. We got to get this guy on camera. I don't know. I can't say that for sure.
Right, no. Right. And also, those people are long gone. It's not like they still have those jobs to worry about.
Right, yeah.
Right. I assume so. I hope so anyway. If you're still in that job, old TV producer, I'm sorry for you. See, the more you tell these details of the story, when we talk about the prison stuff, when we talk about how he gets people, like I get how he gets the victims, the charm of that with the women, that I get this charm makes sense. When his life is dedicated to just getting his next fucking strangulation, he tries his hardest. Yeah. But when it comes to these things like the TV producer angle, the prison thing we mentioned, seems to me like it's easier to just attribute a lot of his success to his smarts and his looks. And it's easy to go there. And I'm sure it works for some stuff, but it can't be for everything. And I don't know how that game show thing is the producer's fault. It's just, it just is.
Oh my God.
It just is.
Oh my God.
There is no excuse.
And if something,
there's no amount of charm he could have done his way in there. You know, it almost seems like he did it on a lark and he got in and like, how am I in? You're like, I'll do it.
Right.
It almost seems like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone dared him. You know.
I don't know. But the Bachelorette that starred in that episode with Alcala, the one Anna Kendrick is playing in Woman of the Hour, and that voice you heard at the top of the show when we played that clip, the woman asking questions, that's Cheryl Bradshaw. Bradshaw was an attractive blonde with this bubbly personality, and she wore a revealing low-cut top on the show, exposing her ample cleavage.
Which we know he likes.
And he does, and ultimately, and so do I, ultimately, as you know...
Oh, me too.
As you know, Bradshaw chose Alcala as the one she would like to go on a date with. And if you follow that link in the show notes, you can see the newly joined couple hugging each other and shooting these big cheesy grins to the cameras. Outwardly on camera, both contestants seemed really happy with each other. Until they were backstage alone after the show. Cheryl Bradshaw immediately began feeling uneasy around Alcala. She didn't like being alone with him, and she said he was acting creepy. She said Alcala tried to smooth talk her, promising her a date she'd never forget. Bradshaw said when she began to feel really ill, sick, physically sick, and really uneasy being in Alcala's presence. With her internal alarm bells blaring, Bradshaw decided to reject Alcala's promise for a date she'd never forget, and she decided to ditch him, having absolutely no idea at how close she came to being likely brutally murdered. So fate intervened, and the two never went out, and they never saw each other again. But just think what this kind of rejection would have done to a person like Alcala, mentally. Authorities do feel that Cheryl Bradshaw's rejection led to the next string of violent murders we're going to talk about.
Oh, see, I didn't know you were going with that. I was going to say, I wonder, and maybe you're going to get to this later, I wonder if she has said anything after Alcala was captured.
Dude, it's so hard to find anything on Cheryl Bradshaw.
Oh, man.
Quotes, where's she at today? That's why I can't kind of wait to see this movie, because I want to know where she is, because I've searched. I can't find shit about her.
Well, it doesn't mean that Anna Kendrick's people know either.
I don't know.
It's a movie. They're going to make it up.
They probably have better researchers than I am, but I couldn't find shit.
I mean, saying they could just make it up, saying it's a movie. But
oh, I got you. Oh,
they're going to make up whatever.
If I see if it's really true.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They probably haven't talked to Cheryl Bradshaw either, but...
You think?
Probably not.
I would hope they would have.
Nah.
Yeah, frankly, I don't even know if she's alive. I'm hoping I'm assuming she is. I mean
she's well within the age to be alive 70s. Still. Yeah, 70, yeah. But I'm just, that's my first question. Obviously, you don't have an answer. And
I don't.
I could tell that sucks for you. But yeah, my first question would be like, did anybody follow up on an interview with her?
It's almost like after this, she just got ghost.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe she was that scared. I don't know. But you're right. It bothers me. I do want to know.
I mean, she seems pretty, sharp instinctually wise. She followed that instinct once. She's going to follow it again. Like, why even pursue any kind of limelight or whatever? She's only going to be chased and followed. It can only be negative for her. Might as well just immediately get out of the spotlight.
Just disappear.
As soon as you found out, why even?
Yeah. I mean, they say women's intuition. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And she didn't even, this is backstage. This isn't a month down the line when they're out alone, in his car parked somewhere. This is fucking behind stage of the dating game. She got it. She felt it.
Yeah.
She was right. Because just 3 months after appearing on the dating game and facing rejection by Cheryl Bradshaw, Rodney Alcala claimed his next victim, 27-year-old Georgia Wickstead. Wickstead, a nurse, was found murdered in her Malibu home, California, of course, December 16th, 1977. She had been raped, sodomized, sexually abused with a hammer, which mutilated her genitals. Then the claw end of the hammer was used to bash her head in. And she was also strangled with her own nylons, as if everything else wasn't enough.
Right.
DNA evidence and a handprint found at the scene matched Alcala's. Okay. Next, Alcala murdered 21-year-old Jill Parento. Parento, a computer programmer, was found raped and strangled to death in her apartment in Burbank, California on June 14th, 1979. She was found naked on her bathroom floor, posed with pillows under her shoulders. She had been sexually assaulted, beaten, and strangled. Blood was found at the scene, matching that of 3% of the population, which did not rule out or confirm Rodney Alcala as the killer. However, Jill Parento's friend, Catherine Bryant, testified that she and Jill had met Alcala at a club several times, and Alcala would ultimately be charged in Jill Parenteau's death.
Okay.
Now, this next murder, this is the one that finally nailed Rodney Alcala. In Long Beach, California, on June 20th, 1979, Alcala murdered 12 years old, Robin Samso.
Robin boy or Robin girl?
A girl.
I assume girl, but just making sure.
No, you're right. No, that's a good point.
That's an androgynous name.
She's just 12 years old, man. So, on June 20th, 1979, Robin was set to start a job, answering phones at a local ballet studio in exchange for ballet lessons. It's so sad, dude. Before starting her first day of work, earlier in the day, Robin, along with her friend, Bridget Wilvert, decided to go to the beach. And there, Robin and Bridget were approached by a man with long, dark hair who asked if he could take their picture. The girls agreed, but at the same time, Robin's friend, one of Bridget's neighbors ran up, this woman named Jackie Young, because she witnessed this man talking to the little girls, and she approached the three, and she said, "Hey, is everything okay? You guys all right?" And at that, the man, who of course was Rodney Alcala, he put his head down and he turned and he walked away, fast. Robin and Bridget then decided to leave that beach, but Robin never made it to work at that ballet school. In fact, that was the last time anyone ever saw Robin alive. 12 days later, on July 2nd, 1979, a fire crew found the badly decomposing body of a child in California's Sierra Madre foothills near Monterey Park. Animals had done a number on the poor child's body, as there was nothing but scattered bones left. It took 3 days to identify the body. It was Robin Samso. Alcala didn't get her at the beach. He waited, and he got her while she was riding a bike to that ballet school. Now, luckily, Bridget Wilvert, the friend, was able to give a description to the police of the man who offered to take their pictures at the beach. The description led to a composite sketch, and that composite sketch very much looked like Rodney Alcala. Now, I left this composite sketch in the show notes so you can see it for yourself. It's pretty remarkable how accurate this sketch is. 12-year-old Bridget did a great job at describing Alcala.
Right.
The sketch was released, and Alcala's parole officer saw it. He then called the cops and said, "You know what? That sketch looks an awful lot like this guy I have in my caseload. You really need to go check him out." Police took the advice and quickly tracked Alcala down. Turns out he was living with his mother, very near where he dumped Robin's body, in Monterey Park. This guy's such a loser. Alcala could not provide an alibi for his whereabouts during the time in question.
Right.
So on July 24th, 1979, Rodney Alcala was arrested for the kidnap and murder of Robin Samso, and he never saw the light of day again.
Good.
Now, for killing Robin Samso, Alcala received a death sentence in 1980. Yay! But we know that Alcala had been slippery before, when he served such a ridiculously light sentence for his violent crimes against Tali Shapiro, because the Shapiro family was out of the country during his trial.
Right.
Here, too, with Robin Samso's trial, Alcala was slippery once again. I guess terrible people can have good luck. 6 years after his death sentence for killing Samso, so in 1986, it was decided that scumbag Alcala had received an unfair trial. His legal team argued that the jury had been improperly told about Alcala's past sex crimes, including the attack on Tali Shapiro, which clouded their judgment, which led to an unfair verdict, and therefore his death sentence was overturned. A second trial for the kidnapping and murder of Robin Samso was held, in which Robin's mother, Marianne Connolly, had to testify and face Alcala again. She did in the first trial. Now she's facing her child's killer again in the second trial.
Right.
Now, it was later discovered that Marianne, Robin's mother, brought a .25 caliber pistol to the trial. She was going to murder Alcala, but ultimately decided against it. Now, thankfully, the justice system worked, and Alcala was found guilty a second time and was served another death sentence. Now that a second judgment had been handed down, with another death sentence, Rodney Alcala had the right to appeal. And of course he did.
Right.
Through working appeals and the justice system, in 2001, so 22 years after he murdered Robin Samsoe, a federal court of appeals overturned Alcala's death sentence again, now for the second time, based on Alcala's claim that he had evidence that would prove his innocence, but he never got a chance to present it in court. This fucker was about to get off, but while Alcala's third trial was underway, police were working hard in the background. It's during this time police figured out through patterns, fingerprints, bite marks, and DNA that Alcala had in fact murdered Jill Barkham, Georgia Wickstead, and Charlotte Lamb. They also linked the murder of Jill Parento to him as well. Now the police could prove Alcala was the serial murderer they always thought him to be. In a Hail Mary play for Alcala's third trial, California prosecutors decided to try him for all 5 murders at once. That's Barkham, Wickstead, Lamb, Parento, and Robin Samsoe. In this trial, Alcala acted as his own attorney.
Really?
Asking himself questions in the third person and answering himself in a much lower, creepy voice. Just a circus show. He even called Robin Samsoe's mother to the stand. Could you imagine being that mother? Being questioned in open court by your own daughter's murderer? The ball's on this. Now, the third time around, there was a star witness. A specter from Alcala's past. Tali Shapiro. Tali captivated the jurors by recounting her harrowing story from back in 1969. Yeah. What she could remember, anyway. And on February 25th, 2010, the jury found Alcala guilty on all 5 counts of capital murder, along with 1 count of kidnapping and 4 counts of rape. Good. Fuck this guy. The jury handed him another death sentence. The judge agreed, and this time it stuck. Alcala was sent to death row at San Quentin, and then to California State Prison, Cochran, the same prison where Charles Manson was housed. And that's where his ass sat, up until his death on July 24th, 2021, from, quote, unspecified natural causes. He was 77 years old, and good riddance to that piece of shit. But this isn't the end of the story. In 2010, police released online a cache of over 100 photos of men, women, and children seen as possible victims of Rodney Alcala. Shortly after his final arrest on July 24th, 1979, for the kidnapping and murder of Robin Samsoe, while he was in jail, Alcala fucked up. You see, his sister came to see him. And while Alcala and his sister were visiting with each other, he told her about a storage locker he kept in Seattle. And he begged her, go to the locker, clean it out, get rid of everything. But little did Alcala know, this entire conversation was being recorded. The police now had a hot tip. And actually, while the police were searching his mother's house, where Alcala was staying when he murdered Robin Samsoe, they found a receipt for that storage locker in Seattle. Now, the contents of this locker is what's keeping the Alcala story alive to this day. And the new movie, of course. And what leads investigators to believe his actual murder count is much, much higher than what he's charged for.
Now we're getting there.
Inside this Seattle storage locker, police found somewhere around 1,000 highly suggestive and pornographic photos of mostly women and young girls, and some little kids, and a few men, which Alcala had taken over the years he was posing as this fashion photographer.
So he took these personally?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
He was mad active. I mean, this was his thing. Now, also in the storage locker, underneath all these illicit photos, police found a silk bag, this little silk bag filled with earrings. He was keeping trophies. And one set of earrings was later proven to belong to Robin Samsoe. And a second pair of earrings with tiny roses would, years later, reveal Charlotte Lamb's DNA.
Wow.
They got this guy, I mean, lock, stock, and barrel.
Right, that's right.
And, of course, Lamb was the woman found murdered and posed in her apartment complex's laundry room in El Segundo, California, back in '78. Now, the photos that could be released online are out there right now, and they're available to view. And I'll leave a link in the show notes to these photos. Now, listeners, please check out the pictures And don't worry, it's nothing that'll give you nightmares. PG-13 at best. Police hope that by putting these photos online, someone will recognize a friend or a loved one and alert authorities to that person's current status. Are they alive? Are they dead? Are they missing?
Right.
In order to help identify possible additional victims. Now, of course, Alcala didn't keep detailed records, and the photos are decades old, from the 70s mostly, so the people in the pictures are really lost to time. No names, no locations, nothing. Now, so far, 22 women have been identified since the pictures were posted. And thankfully, 21 of those women are still alive. But unfortunately, a woman named Kathy Thornton saw her missing sister among the online photos. Through working with police and mitochondrial DNA evidence, Kathy Thornton discovered that Alcala did in fact kill her sister, Christine Thornton, in Wyoming in 1977. Christine Thornton was 6 months pregnant at the time of her murder. So the photos do work, and they have revealed an additional victim. Who knows how many people this animal really killed? Remember, he was a traveler. Now again, there's a link to the photos in the show notes. Do you recognize any of these people? If you have information about anyone in the photos, police ask that you contact Sergeant Sam Shepard with the Huntington Beach Police Department at 714-536-5947. That's Sam Shepard, 714-536-5947. Take a look at the photos, see if you know anybody. It's fucked up. So that's how they get that big gap. He's got his confirmed kills, and then this
And also they
archive.
discover that this archive is not filled with just dead women or dead victims, because a lot of these are alive. So So he played up his role just to probably make money, move on, maybe couldn't find the right opportunity at most of these places as well. You think of that, maybe they come with chaperones and it's too hard.
Well, yeah. Well, that's funny because this last one, Christine Thornton, the one who was 6 months pregnant at the time, she was kind of a wanderer, kind of a loose spirit, if you will, her sister said.
Sure.
And she was with a man who was abusing her. And somehow, during travels, Christine's and Rodney's travels, they met. Christine dumped her abusive boyfriend and wound up kind of traveling around with Rodney.
Oh.
And the picture her sister saw online is of Christine on a motorcycle. She got a big smile on her face. She looked good.
Yeah.
You know? She just happened to not know who this person she happened to be traveling with really was, and he fucking killed her.
Wow. That sucks.
It's fucked up. This is such a shitty story, man.
No, yeah, he's a piece of shit. You know, also, he's not very smart. I'm not even saying... I almost... Look, get me wrong. 160 IQ. I'm not saying it's not nothing. Obviously, it's not enough.
Nothing to sneeze at.
No.
That 160, that.
But he made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes that not even are really forgivable in the 70s.
Like leaving DNA evidence and fingerprints.
Well, DNA evidence is forgivable because that technology isn't invented yet.
I see what you're saying.
That's okay.
So then what's not forgivable?
The brazen attitude of some of these places and victims. He saw, like the way he acted around that girl, like the one before he got captured. I forgot her name. I'm sorry. Where the adults saw her with her friend that gave a good description of him. Yeah,
Robin Sanso and Bridget Wilvert.
Yeah, like there's ways to do that.
This is fucking broad daylight.
Broad
fucking daylight.
There were other details that I forgot to exactly remember, but he is making mistakes a lot, actually. Like, he is beholden and brazen. Like, he is too comfortable in thinking he's getting away with. But he's been caught before, too, by the way. Should be said. He's been caught before.
Yes.
It's almost like he feels like his power isn't that he'll get away with a murder, is that he could get a murder that he commits knocked down to a misdemeanor.
Huh.
It's almost like his power is like his charm, his whatever, his genius.
His looks.
Whatever, maybe it serves him best in the judicial system than it does on the streets or with people on the streets or with potential victims or victims' families. I mean, where is this brazenness coming from?
I would hope it's not the judicial system, that's for sure.
Well, obviously, on at least two occasions, they let him out when they shouldn't have.
Yes.
One of them...
And let him travel when he shouldn't have.
That's a big one.
Huge.
That's a big one. Huge. it just seems like a lot of stuff is more attributed to just luck. And I'm not saying charm and genius, or charm and cleverness don't hold hands together. They do, but they're also two different things. I don't know. I feel like pretty dumb for a smart guy.
No, you're right. You're right.
You know,
maybe he's book smart.
Obviously, and
murder smart.
obviously,
I don't know.
murder. Obviously, there's different kinds of smart, like you just mentioned.
Sure.
Different kinds of whatever. I don't know. I don't know this guy. There's another thing I mentioned way earlier.
Yeah,
and you're gonna love this because this is gonna make you scroll up again. Well, maybe not. Maybe not.
Go ahead.
When you were talking earlier on in his career, before he started killing, about his, when he turned 17, 18, he went to the military.
Yes.
And then he got, I don't know, I assume dishonorably discharged. I'm not sure what you said. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I had just said discharged.
Discharged. I wasn't sure if it was dishonorably. But he had done something.
So there was some sexual deviancy.
Yeah.
In
which
the
is
military.
Which is not specified, which makes sense.
Yeah.
This could be because it's homosexual related, either a rumor or real, or it could be something else, like a barracks bunny thing, which probably wasn't existing back then.
I don't.
But
barracks bunny.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of talk about him being homosexual or anything.
Wait, no, I'm not. He's obviously
He did
not
have
that,
male posing for photos. But it's never explicitly said that he also had sex with men.
Yeah. Because that could also be a legit shoot for money.
I do think he thought he was a legitimate photographer, yes.
Yeah.
Some of his pictures are good. I've seen them. Some of them are good.
Yeah.
But it never says he was specifically gay, so I don't know.
Well, I'm wondering if that's the real first sign, right?
Oh, I think definitely.
And you mentioned, so right after that,
I think definitely the military thing was the first sign that
he joins the arts right before he cracks. And then starts becoming the wandering serial killer.
Yeah, he graduated and cracked. Yeah,
yeah. After the military, which is a short time after, but yes. After it,
after the military,
I kind of think, and again, maybe this could be in the movie. I don't know. But what it struck me when you mentioned that, before he started killing, he became a wandering serial killer, which is all the rage in the 70s, by the way.
It really was.
It really was. I said it as a joke, but it's also true.
Yeah.
Is that what if what made him crack was a piece of art? Because we talked about his childhood, nothing there.
Really nothing there.
Right now we're attributing to something about the military regarding this. But then he probably would have been dishonorably discharged if it was that bad, as opposed to maybe not getting details.
I think it was.
So I don't think that's enough either. And I feel like not the U-turn, not the 180, but the 90-degree turn he made from his time in the arts, meaning learning photography or whatever, into becoming a serial killer or trying to be or trying to kill a young girl. I feel like, what if something broke him artistically? Because it seems like...
Expand on that. Well, it's interesting because they say, wasn't Hitler a failed artist? He was all depressed because he couldn't be a successful artist, and then he moved into politics.
That's good. Any connection I can make with Hitler is great. I didn't think of that. That's good. I mean, yeah, that could be another avenue. I was thinking more like he saw something. Now, I'm not saying in his own art.
Well, don't forget, he was also with Polanski. He was studying under Polanski for a while, too.
Well, he was...
Oh, that's when he went to NYU, though. That's when he went to NYU.
That was after. This is when he was escaping.
That was after, you're right.
After his first attempt. Yeah, this is after the breaking point. And he probably just, I don't know, got tips on how to talk to young girls from Polanski, really. Sorry. Not sorry.
It's true. I mean, it's true.
Yeah. Great filmmaker, but goddamn, he's a piece of shit. Anyway, so I'm thinking right, it could be one thing that at the failed artist thing broke him. Like he saw it early on. Manson has that too with the music career.
Yeah.
And just fucking broke him, and started slaking his thirst, so to speak, his urges, right? Instead, and just going for that, the focused, zeroed in. It could be that, which the connective tissue to that is the way Sherwood, I forgot her name, the dating game girl, denied him.
Cheryl Bradshaw.
Bradshaw, my bad. When Bradshaw denied him, could be like a second fail. You know what I mean? like you could connect those two, the way he overreacted, the way he picked his victims from that point on, the way he kind of showed his hand by trying something so brazen as going on the dating game. Like, it knocked him down a few notches. The way the arts thing knocked him down a few notches. I feel like those two connect.
Oh, it's interesting.
And that could be something. Or what I was originally thinking, which is less likely now that I'm talking, is that what if he saw a piece of art? I don't know what kind of, it's LA, right? So they have museums, they have a lot of things, they have a lot of personal things. Students are making shit all the time. What if he saw something that broke him? Like, maybe he saw talent way beyond what he felt he could have done.
Oh.
You know, something like that. Or something more personal. He saw something that reminded him something awful about himself. You know, something much more, like, this is where it gets cinematic and not really realistic. But, like, what if he saw something, reminded him how fucked up he is, and just went for it? Like, kind of inspired him to kill.
I don't know.
I kind of had that feeling, because the way, again, 90-degree turn, not 180, but...
Dude, the 70s were a weird time.
Weird time.
There was some weird shit in the 70s.
Trust me, there's no way he's never high in this decade.
No
No
Probably
way.
high all the time.
No way he's never not, you know what I'm saying?
It's fucking... I don't know. Yeah, I mean, what do you do when, what happens when a genius psychopath gets knocked down a few rungs?
Yeah.
Fuck, God help.
They usually overreact, usually to get themselves caught, but they also have a lot of damage along the way. You know, they do a lot of carnage on the way out.
I'm telling you, I can't wait to see this movie. I can't wait to see, now that I've researched this today.
I hope you're not hyping up too much. I don't know how good it's going to be.
I don't know. Though that's what I'm saying. Now that I researched this thing to death, this topic,
Yeah.
You know, seeing the movie, I can't wait to see what's
What they
talked
change.
about, what's
Yeah.
not talked about, what's brought up, you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll let you know what we think of the movie, I
Right.
guess. Are you going to watch it?
I mean, yeah, I am now, yes. For sure. I didn't even know it existed until today.
When I heard Anna
will.
Kendrick, I'm like, I'm watching it. I don't even know what the fuck it was about yet.
Right.
But, yep,
right.
I'm in.
Right.
And Katie's like, that's terrible. You're terrible.
Did she see Trap?
She did see... Oh, fuck yeah, she saw
She
Trap.
saw Trap.
I saw her eyes peeled the entire time.
Of course.
Didn't look at her phone once, Josh
Right.
Hartnett.
Right.
I'll whip his ass.
He was a serial killer in that movie. He'll whip your ass.
He was.
All right. That's all I got on it.
Yeah, me too. Just that, thank God this guy's dead. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Fucking cheeseburger.
I love how you mentioned that over and over. It's great. He's actually been demoted to hamburger. Fuck this guy. No
Yeah,
cheese.
Right. No cheese. Veggie burger.
Man, you got it. Kale burger. Okay, we're done now.
Merry Christmas, listeners.
Oh, yes. Merry Christmas.
We will see you when you see it. Oscar, take us home. Yeah, so Game of Thrones, that was our big thing. We're watching the new Menendez show. That's pretty good.
Oh,
Remember the Menendez brothers in the early 90s? Rich kids killed their family, killed their mom and dad.
Oh, I saw the thumbnail for this.
Yeah,
I have not seen it. I don't like
good.
true crime shit most of the time.
Oh, okay.
I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, then, yeah, you won't like it then.
Like, I like it if you write it. I'm not gonna like.
No, thanks. What else? Tulsa King, Stallone, probably not interested.
No, but I know that the new season's coming out because I've been seeing trailers.
It's out
I did
now.
finish Evil. That was great.
You liked the ending?
I love the ending.
Hated the ending.
Why?
Because nothing happened. Literally nothing happened.
Well, I mean, she goes to the Vatican.
She went to Rome, yeah, but Leland's still out there kicking.
Wasn't he, like, taken away?
Yeah, but you don't know what happened to him.
He's gone.
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, also, like, they leave it open on purpose. There's a whole thing where, you know, they want to leave things open because they're like, well, Evil's never really dead. But, like,
They're
story
also
is-
talking about season 5 now.
Well, I mean, that's cool
People
then.
are rallying for it.
Well, that's...
I don't know. I just wanted more. Nothing really happened with David.
You just want them to fuck. You know, when two characters that you ship in a show fuck, as soon as they fuck, the show becomes uninteresting.
Really?
90% of the time.
Maybe
Yeah.
you're right. Ben, what happened to Ben the Magnificent?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Like the whole thing with the fucking.
I mean, I did see this a month ago, so I don't remember now.
The CERN when the whole thing.
Yeah, he was seeing that demon.
What happened? Nothing happened.
No, he did something. I still remember what it was.
Well, he got this job that was paying him like $350,000 a year, or $500,000 a year, or something like that.
Right.
That's all
I remember that. You're
but
right.
nothing that was like, whoa, this is great. We invested all this time and there's a payoff.
Well, yeah.
I didn't feel like there was a payoff.
Well, I think he's the true skeptic, right, of the show.
Who, Ben? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if he starts believing out of nowhere, I would have not found that believable either. So.
Well, he was coming close.
Yeah, he was close. For sure.
So, I don't know. Yeah, evil. What else? Movies. What movies have we seen? Trap.
I love Trap.
Trap is okay.
Trap, I mean, I can... No, I'll tell you. It's a terrible movie. I love it. It's awful. It has so many mistakes.
I didn't think it was awful.
No, a lot of people say it's awful, and every time they give up, like, this is awful and this is awful, like, I totally buy it.
Like,
I understand.
What were some examples?
Well, just so many things in the movie so unrealistic. It's so It's so laughably unrealistic. But I had so much fun with the tension that I didn't care, and I loved it.
There was, yeah.
But like, and in the high watermark being like they let him hug his daughter at the end, or let him fix a bike off the lawn at It's so weird. And why has he not any police escort on the way to the cop? Why is he alone? It's so dumb. I get it. It's dumb. I had a blast though.
That's the least of my worries.
Yeah. But there's a lot of shit like that. I'm saying.
So it's M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. Yeah. Right. So I was waiting for that twist, man. I mean, I'm waiting for the twist, and I'm like, okay.
No, it's not really twisty.
No, not at all.
The twisty thing is that you find out that. Well, that could be the twisty thing, but no. The only real twisty thing in the movie is that I thought the movie was going to take place entirely on the concert. And then they moved away. They have a fourth act at the house. And like, that was cool. I didn't expect it.
Oh, see, I don't consider that a twist.
No, that's not a twist. Neither is the wife thing.
That she's the one who found the ticket and turned it in and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I guess it kind of plays
that
like
was
a twist.
A twist, but not a Shyamalan twist.
No, not a Shyamalan twist.
So my whole thing was I was having fun with it because everything fell into place for Josh Hartnett's character to a T every single time. A door opens, a card just happens to be laying there. The apron that he stole happens to have a wallet in it, and there's the secret card that we were given, at the debriefing, and he meets the black dude who gives him the word.
I think the worst of that is every time he turned on the radio, he had perfect information for
there too,
that he needed.
Right. So,
that was the worst.
So I was like, okay, this is so outlandish.
Right.
This has to be part of the twist. Like, the twist is he's writing a novel.
That's why you thought it was just okay, because you thought it was building to something. You're giving M. Night too much writerly credit. He doesn't care about that.
Well, back in the early 2000s, or late 90s, that's what he was.
Well, in the late 90s, we also had shittier movies. I think we were just, so used to a certain kind of movies, and we're so used to different kinds of movies now.
When was Shyamalan's heyday?
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Early 2000s, okay.
Because 1999 was where Sixth Sense came out.
Okay, early 2000s, right. So, yeah, all those twists were, mind-blowing, man.
Yeah, because we were also dumber as cinema goes, though.
Maybe.
I'll tell you we were. And think about the best movies of that era and how dumb they are if you look back at them. So dumb. So many errors. We're used to much more sophisticated plotting. We're not great at the emotion stuff. The 90s are much better at that. But we're so much better at plotting stuff, making things sense, making things tension. We're so much better at that now, something that M. Night was the grandfather of, but not so much anymore. We just have so many better, more tightly packed stuff. But he also doesn't care about that. He likes the schlockiness. He likes being kind of like Scream, the first Scream, kind of like being a slasher. I know it's not a slasher, but he likes being that way. I personally think he needs a partner to settle him down. So he can write a little better, because you're right, his dialogue is not great. I hate he puts himself in the movies. I don't like any of the stuff.
See, that doesn't bother me.
I hate it, and a few times it makes the movie worse. not always, but and then with Trap, it's like I just I was in the mood.
Yeah, no, it was. What? Or there was another one. Yeah, Josh Hartnett in all these 20,000 people. Yeah, he just happens to turn around and there's the broad's uncle. And it happens to be M. Night.
Yeah, that's another
one.
And
he's like, oh, hey, my daughter was dying. She's not. Oh, why don't you come backstage? So watching the movie with this in mind where, okay, this is so outlandish.
What would be the reason, though?
What?
Like this twist that you were
Oh,
expecting.
I don't know. Like the guy's fucking laid up in a hospital, or it's M. Night writing a book, and this is in his
worse.
mind, or whatever it is.
Oh, that's way worse.
There's some big reveal.
If that was going to
And
happen,
that's why all these things just
I
happen
would've-
to fall into place.
I would have bought a table just to flip it.
During the movie, I was watching it. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is cool. Something big's going to happen. This makes no sense."
I mean, the
but
biggest
it's for
thing
a
was the
reason.
nepotism.
Oh yeah, yeah. Who was?
I forgot her name.
Someone told me that it's like a commercial for his daughter.
It
You
is.
know, like yeah.
Oh no, it is. That's her. M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is the singer, 100%.
Yeah, lady,
and she wants to be a pop idol singer in real life.
Oh, she does?
And those are her real songs
Oh really?
that you listen to the whole movie. So you're listening to an
Well, she's
album
not-
for free, for the for the price of a movie ticket. You know what I'm saying?
I guess so.
He's trying to help her
But she
get her.
wasn't bad, I guess.
Oh no, I don't know anything about pop music.
But I don't
much,
care.
I
wanna
didn't care
see a
either. I'm just
cool
saying it's
M. Night
super
movie.
I'm just saying it's very blatant.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
That's all I mean.
100%.
I don't think it's terrible. Like whatever, you have power, go do it. You have money, go do it.
Well, I would do it for my kid.
Right.
But after everything was done,
Yeah.
and I realized, hey, there's no twist here. Now none of this shit makes sense, and I was angry.
See, I was fine with it not making sense in the moment, and I was like, let's just go with it because I wasn't hoping for a big twist. I guess.
So there was our difference.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
Or
for
at
that
least
twist.
the twist I was hoping for had nothing to do with why the movie's written badly. I mean, I like that. I mean, some of that stuff was cool though. Like when he pushes that girl
Oh, yeah.
to see the reaction of the cops, and they don't move because they have other cops to do that, so they're not going to move from the entrance, so he
yeah.
can't escape. I'm like, that's a cool move. That's a cool
Yeah,
tactic.
okay, yeah.
The way he talks his way out of the cops when he's like when they're doing the briefing thing,
Yeah.
and he gets in there like, oh, this should go down here. Like I thought that was cool too. The way he acts is
Yeah, no,
I like
Josh
that.
Hartnett did great.
There's some good
I mean,
moments, great moments.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, the movie's also super silly. No cop on the planet would ever stage a trap of this magnitude. Nothing will. The concept is so ridiculous.
And it's all off of a ticket stub.
a dumbass ticket stuff. That I guess that may explain why it felt like a twist when you find out the wife did it, because that comes back later. But yeah, it's a dumb reason. Why would they think that? It's not enough. Also, with the point in that, because we reviewed it on the show. The point of the thing we argued about the most was I was pissed that we didn't get enough of the FBI profiler because they were making her off to be like the super smart person, but we get no evidence of that. And I really wanted to know what would they have asked at the entrances that kept Josh Hartnett so scared to be questioned by
Oh,
them.
wow, good point.
And like if they just showed us a little bit of that intelligence by these.
Well, it's especially
Like, I would have bought into it more. I was like, this is one of the complaints I had.
well, especially because that profiler is a famous actress.
But yeah, from
Haley Mills,
right, from the Parent Trap.
Parent Trap. Yeah, I mean that's who.
Are you texting people? Everyone go to sleep.
Well, I hear the chair. It was like almost the same exact title,
Yeah.
right? So we're like, oh my god, it's like $1.99 on VOD or whatever. Let's rent it.
Oh, okay.
It was the worst B movie piece of
Yeah,
shit. They
yeah.
completely just took advantage of the name.
That's how they get you.
And we were so mad. So now it's out, and
That's funny.
so I'm going to get that one next.
That is
I think.
funny.
What else? Horror wise, nothing.
There's a great. I told you about this great movie. I texted you about it. Oddity.
Oh, we did see Oddity.
Did you like it?
It was
really?
okay.
Oh, really? Because I
It was
love that
okay.
movie, man. I love that movie.
Really? What did you love
Everything
about
paid
it?
off about it. Everything was perfectly set up from the very beginning. Everything worked out. There was no like loose thread in the movie.
You didn't want to see more of the dummy?
No, we got enough.
Really?
Yeah, we
Just
got
sitting
enough.
there?
I think working the tension. I feel like whatever the budget was, maybe they couldn't show it with us looking too hokey. I feel like the Jaws effect. The less you show, the more horrifying it is. So I felt like it was fine that way. It is technically an indie movie, so like they probably couldn't do a whole lot.
We didn't not
And
like
if they
it.
if they had to CG the whole thing, it might have looked phony.
Huh.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I
think
like that it was sitting there. It was real. It was there. It was tactile for me. It was enough for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
love
I
it.
guess for me it wasn't.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying it's the scariest movie of the year. It's the best movie.
I'm not saying that, but I thought it was pretty creepy. Yeah.
I guess maybe I guess I just.
I mean,
didn't
that
see
whole
it.
thing with the sister and don't open the door for. Right, I love that scene.
The guy with the crazy eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah,
whole
we
thing.
saw it. I didn't. I liked it. Would I watch it again? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But yeah.
What else? What other horror?
Oh, I mean, I should look in my. Been watching so much horror. So much horror. All right, so I did see Fido. I saw Zombie Flesh Shooters, but that's from '79. I saw Never Let Go.
Never Let Go.
with.
is that Halle Berry? Mm-hmm. How was that?
It was okay.
The previews look really good.
No, it has really good tension. Has really good scenes.
Watchers.
That was a while ago.
Saw Watchers. For some reason, that movie reminded me of Watchers.
Okay,
Maybe
that
you
both
can't
set in the
leave
forest.
This,
Yeah.
Can't leave this.
Also, both set in the forest.
And in the forest, yeah.
I like that movie too. I would say Never Let Go is, I think, better film, like better made, but I think it falls apart with the ending. I don't think I liked it.
Really? See, I liked it. I liked Watchers.
No, I mean Never Let Go.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry, I meant Never Let Go. Yeah. No, the Watchers was more even the whole time. It was like even the whole time. Yeah, it was cool. Like the whole thing with the ferry was cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I saw The Last Stop in Yuma County. It's not a horror, but that's a very good movie.
Really?
It's like a crime movie, I guess. Almost the entire movie takes place in this like shitty diner in the middle of nowhere. It's about this guy who stops at this diner that's attached to a gas station. He wants to put gas in it, but they don't have any gas. So they're waiting for the truck. The truck is late. And they go, if you want to wait, go into the diner, right? And as he's waiting there, he's chatting up with the waitress there. All these people start coming in, including, and something you hear on the radio that earlier in the morning, a bank was robbed, like a bank robbery. And the bank robbers need gas, and they stop in the diner, right? And they get found out, so they start having people hostage until the gas truck arrives.
Oh my God.
And it's just a mounting tension. That just keeps tension.
Oh, cool.
Until the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but that's a very good movie.
Awesome. It's a new one?
Yeah. Well, a few months ago, but yeah.
Okay.
New. I did see Spaceman. Forgot about that.
Spaceman.
That, what's his name?
The Mexican dude?
No.
There was a space with that...
No, you're thinking of a Slingshot. Maybe not.
He's been in a ton of stuff. I don't know his name.
Spaceman is with Little Nicky. What was this guy's name? Adam Sandler.
Oh, with the big spider?
Yes.
I didn't like that movie.
You didn't like it?
I did not.
Oh, I did like it. I liked it. I didn't love it.
I guess I just missed the whole premise. I guess I just missed the point. Maybe I was tired. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did not like it.
I enjoyed that one. What were you thinking of, though?
I can't think of it. And now, of course, I can't think of a movie that this Hispanic dude's been in.
That's funny. I did see Blink twice.
Blink twice.
That was good.
Is that...
It might still be in theaters. I'm not sure.
Who's in that?
Shakwat is her name.
I know I've heard of Blink twice.
Channing Tatum is the bigger name in that movie.
Oh, yeah, where he takes him off to the island.
Yes, that's the movie.
It was good?
Very good.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
A lot of people are not hailing it, talking about like irreverent, like, oh my God, there's this crazy fucking like traumatic rape scene. Or I saw it. It's not that traumatic.
Okay.
But also I've seen way worse. So I'm like, I thought it was pretty tame. I thought it was pretty tame.
Okay.
Not that it has to be amazing, but people were talking about it as if it would. I'm like, guys, come on. Yeah. I've seen Compliance. Not that shows it either, but that felt worse. No, but Blink Twice was a very cool movie. Very cool. Again, and it's like, it is a horror kind of thriller stuff, but it's also very, like, it's funny along the way. It doesn't try to be just one genre. It tries to, like, kind of be fun with it.
Cool.
Strange Darling. You guys, when that comes out on VOD, watch it.
Strange Darling.
Don't even read into it. The less you know, the better. Really? This is literally a spoiler if you know one thing. Like, that's an amazing movie. We review that movie too.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a show.
Strange Darling.
Listen to the show.
Have you seen Cuckoo?
I did see Cuckoo.
What did you think? Was it good?
I thought it was good. Not great, though. Where's Cuckoo on here?
Damn. That's out now, too. We want to rent that one. Maybe.
Oh, you know what? That's so funny. I never added Cuckoo to my list of things I watched.
Have you heard about this Milk and Cereal?
No, what's that?
Did I text you about it? Milk and Cereal. It's a movie on YouTube. It was done for like $800, and now they're saying this kid who directed. He's a comedian. He's a comedy. He made it big on YouTube with comedy skits, but now he's into directing horror short films and things for YouTube. And Milk and Cereal. It was really fucking good. For $800, for an $800 budget, what these guys were able to pull off.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's got the attention of like everybody. Yeah. People in Hollywood, they're Milk and Cereal. And it's cereal like serial killer, what? SERIAL. Milk and Cereal.
Like Serial Mom?
Yeah, yeah. It's very good. It's a very good watch. Hour-ish. It goes by quick. Oy vey, everything hurts.
Oy vey, Glyven.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Take the wheel.
I see demons.
I'm just going to start that. Okay. Let's do this.
5. Was that Nicolas Cage in Gone in 60 Seconds?
Well, I can see Nicolas Cage doing something like that.
Yeah, he does that in Gone in
Does he
60
really?
Seconds. Let's do this. So let's go. Or
Wow,
something
I
like
had no
that.
idea.
5, 4, 3, 2.